are effectively storing those traumatic experiences in our bodies, and until it's energetically moved through our system, we are the host and we are the kink.
A lot of people move through life thinking that I've got no trauma, and think, oh, that was only something small, it's fine, move on, get over it. But actually, the body doesn't know the story. The body is still feeling just emotion on an intensified level.
Most of the time, it's what we call ourselves that really causes the damage. It's not even the thing that's happened. It's what we internalize about the thing that's happened.
In that moment in life when you experience that event, that you experienced sadness or anger, and you probably suppressed that, your body is holding on to that suppressed emotion. Things happen to us in life where we just have breakdowns and we were like, what the hell is happening to me? I'm not feeling okay. All of this has happened to you in your life, and you've pushed all of this emotion down into your body, and now your body is screaming at you. Pain is not something that we should experience in our bodies. Physical pain is not something that we should experience every day. Underneath that pain is the body trying to communicate that there is something stuck emotionally, energetically in the body.
Today, I have a very, very special guest on the podcast. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome this absolute legend from Cork in Ireland, a former oncology nurse. And now she has added to her arsenal of skills, energetic works, body works, healing the root cause of diseases. She works with people online and in person. The legend herself, a fellow Bali resident, Miss Jane Fitzpatrick. What's happening, mate? How are you getting on?
Thank you so much for having me here, Dara. And I feel very grateful that we've crossed paths over the other side of the world. You're from Dublin, I'm from Cork, and it's mad. It's like I feel like the Irish always just find each other. Like, we'll pull each other out no matter where we are in the world. Like we sniff each other a mile away.
Yeah, 100%. The funny story actually on our meeting, our first time meeting, we were in Bamboo in the class. Can you remember?
Yeah.
It's Mary Ellen is the other, your sister, right? So myself and Jane, as the class was getting explained and they were doing the reps and showing us what we needed to be doing, and everybody's supposed to be listening to what we have to do during the session. Myself and Jane had just discovered that we both worked in somatics in similar fields and helping people to heal from trauma, and we were so excited. We're like, oh my God, no way you do that. And she's screaming at me and I'm screaming at her, but Mary Ellen was turning around giving us absolute dog's eyes.
The teacher course coming out in her. The teacher coming out in her.
Oh yeah. The scrunchy mush. Whenever my wife does it, that's what I call it, the scrunchy mush. So that was funny. That was my introduction, and since then, you and your two other beautiful sisters have been, epic. Get to see the friendly faces, the Irish people in Bali. There's not many of us, so it's nice to have that connection and have the deeper conversation. So with that, we're going to jump into your story because I already know a lot of it. I'm excited for the listeners to get to know you and hear what your transitions have been throughout life. So, Jane, just all the way back to the start, life for you growing up in Cork, in Ireland.
So I grew up in Mallow, and I suppose my parents worked really hard when we were younger. My dad was a detective. My mom worked in Dairy Gold. It's like the dairy company, and that produces us with the milk and the cheese.
Butter.
We spent
that
a lot
we still look for on the other side of the world.
Literally, it's like the Irish produce, like. So we spent a lot of time really with our grandparents on the farm, which was just next door. So I loved the outdoors, loved nature, loved animals, spent a lot of time with our horses, like feeding the cows when they were being milked, and really just spending time with our uncles on the farm. Pat and Tom, they're just, they lived over with my nan and my granddad, and they were just like such an inspiration for me. They have, they want or have want for nothing, and they were just so happy every day, like so peaceful inside, and spent a lot of time just outside with the animals. And really, Pat used to go to mass quite a lot, and he'd always say, to have faith and to trust in God. And I think I learned a lot from them, and especially my grandmother as well. You know, she was very worked really hard, and yeah, just I think, you know, really kind of beat it into us to really appreciate the simple things in life and to be grateful for having food on the table, and not wanting for more than you have. And yeah, and the same from my own parents as well. You know, they always used to tell us not to live above our means, and just to treat people with respect, you know. Um, yeah, so went to school down the road, never loved it really. Like, yeah, I was
At
always the
least
one.
you're honest.
Yeah, like I think, yeah, I think I was somebody who just loved the outdoors, and being inside the classroom for me wasn't easy. Like sitting down, having to do things that I wasn't interested in, you know, was hard for me as a child, and even in secondary school. I found it hard to concentrate and to be present in a space that I didn't feel happy in, you know. Um, with certain people, with certain teachers who I felt safe with, I would like going to their classes. And certain subjects that I enjoyed, where I felt like I was actually learning things that resonated with me, I really liked that, and I could be present in those spaces. But often, yeah, it was hard for me to really to resonate with a lot of what I was being taught in school, you know.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, and yeah, I always, my nan got sick then. She had a fall one night, got fell out of bed. She was perfect, looked after us every day, collected us from school, cooked the dinner, and then fell out of bed. And she was never the same again. She developed dementia and was not able to walk. And yeah, it was really hard time for all of our family to really to witness that and to see that, you know, and to see this whole person that we had loved all our lives to not be there anymore, you know.
Oh,
Yeah, and then I really spent a lot of time helping her, like through her you know, dementia, and helping her through her life at that time, and really connected with her on a really deep level, which was wild. And you know, I think for us as people, as our family and our parents get older, there's a lot of Alzheimer's and dementia in this, you know, world. And oftentimes we can become afraid of these people, you know, that we once loved, because they're not who we had thought that they were. But really, I learned a lot. I called her ma'am, my granny,
uh-huh.
her ma'am. And yeah, like uh, I found ways to connect with her, you know, even though there was a lot of confusion. I found ways to help her become present in her body. And that was through like showing her pictures of old photographs, because her long-term memory was amazing, you know, like she could tell you
Uh-huh.
that happened 40, 50 years ago, but she couldn't tell you what was happening yesterday or the day before. So I would bring her out onto the farm, and like I would drive her through the passages. Like I was only like 15 at the time, you know, like I would hop into her car and drive. I'd be like, "Ma'am, come on,
Pure,
hop in," and like
pure Irish. I
poor
love it.
Irish down the passage.
Country
Like,
Ireland as well, yeah.
yeah, um, that was, you know, that was a way that I, yeah, like wild, like, and yeah, that was a way that I could help her be present and help her, you know, kind of be out of that mind that she was in, and really be present in the body. And I think from there, I went to nursing and went to Tralee down in Kerry and studied there for 4 years. I loved it. And yeah, I just really enjoyed caring for people. But there was a big part of me that believed that there was a way that I could go deeper with helping people. That,
Uh-huh.
you know, yes, the hospitals are really important places to have, and important places for us to go to really, you know, if we get sick, of
There's
course we,
emergencies.
yeah, exactly. But then I
Mhm.
felt like I could see that there was a lot of illness happening from something much deeper that was going on in the person's personal life. And I
Uh-huh.
really saw this when I worked with patients with cancer, because a lot of them were developing tumors and, you know, different cancers in their body, because of, yeah, they had gone through really stressful life events in the past few years. And I think that the body started to dysregulate, and blockages started to happen, and then the body stopped functioning, because there was too much stress on the physical body to
Uh-huh.
really, you know, homeostatically, like, and to find that equilibrium and that balance. And so yeah, disease
Uh-huh.
started to happen in the body. And I really saw that, you know, I really, really saw that. And I said, you know, I have to go deeper into this, like, because yes, I'm helping people, and I really love that I was able to help people, and I still am helping people in the hospital setting. But
Mhm.
there, I feel like I need to go deeper here. I'm seeing something, and I need to go into this. And yeah, that's what led me into this work. Like, I now
Mhm.
work with people not using medicine. I don't use any pharmaceutical drugs to help people heal. I use my own energy, my healing. Yeah, like I have gone through a
Uh-huh.
lot of deep inner work myself. I have gone to the depths of my traumas and what I was holding on to in my body, which has been passed down through generations. And so clearing out my blocks has allowed me now to hold a very healing frequency for people and energy for people to help people heal. And
Uh-huh.
it's really about helping people to be vulnerable with themselves and to feel safe in their bodies, and to really delve into what is deep down underneath this sickness, what's deep down
Uh-huh.
underneath this
Well,
experience. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like, yeah.
amazing, amazing, amazing. I just want to commend you for having the courage to go through life, but it's go through life and changes with bravery and learners, student mindset. But I also want to highlight some things as well here that you said so much gold, and I love it. Um, in terms of the tumors getting bigger, for anybody who's listening and doesn't understand what Jane is saying, when if you picture a garden hose is a good analogy as well to use. If you picture a garden hose that's kinked, then the water, if it's kinked 10 times, the water can't flow out. And it's only one place that stops the water, but the rest is kinked. If you higher up the pressure in that system, eventually the hose is going to explode. So if you picture trauma in your body, staying stored in your body when we have a bad life event, a car accident, a rape, a physical violence in the family home, or alcoholism in the family home, and we don't express those things through healthy means, we are effectively storing those traumatic experiences in our bodies. And until it's energetically moved through our system, we are the hose and we are the kink, and eventually it's going to come out in disease. That's what Jane is explaining, disease. So when the tumor gets big enough, then may become cancerous or will need to be removed from your body. So then you need interventions from hospitals and medications and things of that nature. But Jane, well done. Like, thank you for acknowledging that. Can you explain a little bit more about, what sort of tools you use to help people express those traumas and tumors and stuff like that from their bodies?
I think the main thing as well that I want to say is that often I think people have this fear of this word trauma. They think that a lot of people move through life thinking that I've got no trauma, and a trauma needs to be something massive, and yes, there's big traumas, and they're the big, big events that we remember in life, that are very clear to us that have happened. But also there is traumas that are the small t traumas that, are also just as big, but the story behind that trauma isn't as big in this life, and so we think, oh, that was only something small, it's fine, move on, get over it. But actually, the body doesn't know the story. The body
Hmm.
only reacts to the
The feeling.
emotion, the feeling.
Hmm.
So the body doesn't know whether it was, whether you got bullied at school or whether you lost your parent. Like, the body is still feeling just emotion on an intensified level. So I think for me, I really want to make it clear that, you know, some people don't feel worthy of stepping into this work because they feel like, no, sure, I've had nothing really happen to me. I've had a great life, and I'm fine out, like, that's like, we
Hmm.
forget about that. But really what they don't realize is that in that moment in life when you experience that event, that you experienced sadness or anger, and you probably suppressed that,
Hmm.
and your body is holding on to that suppressed emotion, and it's like, I think of like a bottle of champagne, imagine, and the more that you push down the bubbles, you know, like into the bottle. That's all the emotion. Then it gets so much that like it bubbles and bubbles and bubbles. And next minute the top of it pops off. And that's
Mhm.
when we have these things happen us in life where we just have breakdowns and we were like, what the hell is happening to me? I'm not feeling okay. And it's like, yeah, you're not feeling okay because all of this has happened to you in your life and you've pushed all of this emotion down into your body. And now your body is screaming at you, you know, to
Mhm.
like, listen to me, you know,
Yes.
we're not feeling
Love it.
okay because, yeah, you need to listen. Our bodies are constantly communicating with us, you know, and pain is not something that we should experience in our bodies. Physical pain is not something that we should experience every day. Chronic pain is not something that we should experience. And underneath that pain is the body trying to communicate that there is something stuck emotionally, energetically in the body. And unless that we look into that and see what's underneath that, whether it's, you know, an event that had happened to you, whether you know, maybe years ago when you were 4 or 5 and you were at play school and the teacher, you know, didn't meet your needs and you were crying out, you wanted to go home to your mom or something, and the teacher was like, stop crying and shut up and, you know, whatever, sit down, and that gets blocked, you know, something as
Mhm.
small as that. And yeah, it's about going back to that event. So that's really what I do with this work is I bring people into their bodies. The mind needs to just go, the ego, you know, because we
Aha.
have this idea that the ego is running the show, the mind, you know, and it's like we need to just try and get out of that mind, get out of that constant thinking. And I just hold a safe space, you know, with my energy for people to really become safe in being in the body and
Mhm.
feeling into what's there. And then, you know, I am intuitively drawn to some area of the body, you know, whether it be the hip or the abdomen or wherever. Like my body will show me where this person is holding onto some stagnant energy. And then I will work into that space. And often, you know, we remember the memory, you know,
Aha.
even though we don't even need to, we think we're like, this is crazy. How am I saying this? Like, you know, it's like, what's
Mhm.
sadness? And when it just say the first thing that comes to your mind, it's like, I was 4 and what happened? Oh, I don't know. I was playing out in the garden and one of my friends hit me, or, you know, and it's just like, what? Where has this come out of? And it's like, yeah, like the subconscious, we hold all of our memories here. It's all
Yeah.
stored, you know, it's all stored.
The body keeps the score, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
body
And
is the living hard drive.
yeah, exactly. And really, it's just about really being able to feel what's there so that the energy can move. And often it involves, you know, making sound, like you may kind of roar or shout or cry. And it's about
Mhm.
allowing the basically this trapped energy that's stuck here. It needs to move, it needs to go somewhere else
Mhm.
than being stuck in here. And the way that we can do that is by expressing it. So
Mhm.
expressing it, we didn't have the opportunity to do it when we were younger, you know.
Amazing, amazing. And I just another a great analogy I use for because we do similar work. You do it with different modalities, but the same outcome and the
Hmm.
same targets. But a great analogy I use is the picture two kids on swings, best
Yeah,
friends.
yeah,
When let's say Dara kicked Jane off the swing and you run over to mommy and daddy and you're screaming your head off. I hate Dara. I don't want to play with him ever again. And you're expressing all that raw, real rage,
yeah,
anger, emotion, sadness because you hurt your knee or whatever. Only to be playing with Dara 10 minutes later and with best friends again. I'm probably pushing you on the swing. And for the listener to understand, then that's the children are expressing all of that raw emotion.
yeah,
When we get to adulthood, society has told us that it's not okay, especially for men, to express that raw emotion. When in reality, there is healthy ways and healthy modalities to express it. Primal therapy, which is the screaming that you just spoke of, even the going into the safety of your energetic work and crying. But that energy, it's like, as you said, a bottle of champagne. The more energy and the more champagne that you stuff into that bottle, it's going to explode. So that's the analogy for your body. Um, so thank you for that, Jane. And that's great. I want to take it back because I don't want to skip over too much of your life before we get to where we're at today. So yeah, you said you were a teenager, you went to Chile in college.
yeah.
And there's actually something as well that you mentioned about school, and it's been a running theme for all of my guests so far. They felt like a round peg in a square hole in school, and they were sort of told off and made to feel less than because they didn't
Mhm.
learn the way the school system was trying to teach them. So you touched on that. You knew from a very early age that you didn't like learning in that way. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit more, and then we
Yeah,
can carry
and
on?
I just think that I saw things, like I was very intuitive as a child. I would feel
Uh-huh.
energy very much. And I think I saw, I didn't feel safe with some teachers. I
Uh-huh.
felt they were very controlling, and, yeah, I didn't feel safe to learn, and
That's amazing.
yeah, and often I would speak my voice, I would speak up, I think I wasn't, one of the smart kids who was getting all A's in the tests ever, but I mean, I would still work hard, and I would study, and I worked really, really hard in school. I wasn't, but yeah, I think I just saw, I was like, "Eh, this isn't the way that like we should be learning as kids." I think we're so precious, like at that age, and between the ages of 1 to 7, especially. So like being in like that,
Huge.
it's such a huge time for us, and it's where we learn. That's who we are. That's when we're created. Like those ages of 1 to 7, it's like a pivotal time of our lives. It's when the subconscious is formed, all of our belief systems, everything, and yeah, I just think that I I think some students, yes, love going to school, and they love learning because they could look at a book and look at a page and they could learn off in 2 minutes. I wasn't like that. I wanted to learn something that was I resonated with, something that I was interested in and enjoyed. And oftentimes I just didn't have the opportunity to do that. And I felt like a lot of the teachers didn't like me often. I would get given out to a lot, when my parents would go to the parent teacher meetings, saying that I was like, speaking out of turn, or I was laughing, and, this kind of thing. And it was like, because I was being free, I was being me,
Uh-huh.
I wasn't
Uh-huh.
expressing myself, and I never wanted to do that, and I think I was strong in that sense, is that like I was like, I'm not leaving these people like control me in any way, I'm going to be me, and I'll still do my work and I'll still learn. But like, yeah, and the unfortunate thing is that there is a system that we have to fit into, that we need to
Uh-huh.
attend this session and this class, and we need to, learn in a certain way, when actually so many people are not visionary learners. So many people learn in a different way, like
Uh-huh.
by seeing things being done, or by whatever, and that's, yeah,
Me
exactly.
in a
Me,
nutshell.
I need, if somebody shows me something and they act it out, and that's why I loved nursing, is because it was so practical, and I really excelled on the wards
Uh-huh.
because I was really fast at picking things up, and
Yeah.
but in school, like reading things out of a book, I was like, this doesn't resonate with me. It's boring. Like, what good is this to me? Like algebra and all this kind of thing. I never even things, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
and
stuff.
yeah, and yeah, I was just like, no, like I don't enjoy this. This isn't, and I know we have to do it, and of course, like I needed to do it to get into the work,
Some,
you
yeah,
know.
I definitely agree. But I also think there's some things that could, like, as you said, algebra. It's funny you said that. I don't know if we need that. Later on in life, if you choose to go down the road, I don't even know where you use that, to be honest. But adding in some mindfulness and yoga, I actually want to hear your opinion on this before I give you mine. But what do you see as some solutions to what you're saying? Because a lot of people, a lot of kids, they develop this, I don't belong, and feeling stupid and feeling dumb, and they label themselves, because most of the time it's what we call ourselves that really causes the damage. It's not even the thing that's happened, it's what we internalize about the thing that's happened. So for you, what do you think is a good solution to
Yeah. And I
the
think
old
we,
system?
like, make sure that like anyone who is listening, anyone who has felt this way or still feel, it's important to know that this is the way the world wants us to be. The world wants us to feel stupid. The world
Hmm.
wants us to feel not in control. The world wants us to feel yeah, like we don't belong, because then
True rebel, huh?
you know yeah, and like, you know, I will be always honest, because I have lived through this and I have been in that space of never
Mhm.
I belonged, you know, and this is why I want to help do this work and help people, is because I don't want people to suffer in the way that I have, because of the way the world has made me feel, you know. And this is something, you know, this is not coming from you, it's something coming from far greater, you know.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it's just, I think it needs to start from a young age. Like, people need to understand their bodies, you know. This is why people go to school, everything is being controlled. You get up, you go to school, you come home, you eat your dinner, you go to bed, until you go to college. And then it's often around that time that you see lots of suicide and lots of people's mental health dipping, and then people turn to
Mhm.
drug, alcohol, because they don't know themselves, they don't know who they are,
Mhm.
don't know how to cope with emotions in the body. And we are not physical beings, we are energetic beings, so we are going to feel emotion throughout life. It's natural. But
Mhm.
we do not learn one thing about that in school, not one thing. You know, you are expected to be happy all of the time. If you're not happy, what's wrong with you? You know, what's wrong? There's something not right
Mhm.
with you. You know what, you don't wrong, you know, there's something wrong because you're
Uh-huh.
feeling. Oh.
Uh-huh.
And
No.
I think, yeah, like it needs to start in school from a young age, getting students to connect to their bodies, you know, like whether that be through yoga or dance or whatever it is, through singing, you know.
Mhm.
But something that can connect a person from the mind into the body, and feeling what it feels like to be present, you know, to not be up here thinking, learning, trying to remember, trying to achieve,
Mhm.
but being down here and feeling what
Mhm.
it's like to feel in the body. What does it feel like to be sad, to be happy, to be angry? And really learning ways that if we are feeling certain emotions, what do we do? What techniques can we use to really allow ourselves to move through this wave, you know, so that we can get to the other side of it, until that another wave comes, because inevitably this is what life is about, you know. It's like we'll constantly move through cycles of being, you know, okay, happy in the light, and moving down into more sadness, more, you know,
With
anger.
breakups and, job losses and real life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, I really think that it needs to be brought into schools. Like, it really needs to be brought into schools, because this is why we're seeing this suffering, you know, as teenagers in their 20s, like huge suffering, and it's becoming a
Mhm.
bigger and a bigger problem. And it's because, yeah, these schools need to do more. Like, we have to
Uh-huh.
do more to help people energetically, emotionally. Like, we need to, you know, and
Mhm.
there's no question about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to say that, because the school that our kids are in here in Bali, that's exactly what they do. They learn about values, learn about themselves, how to manage their emotions, how to look after the planet, and have a lot of fun while they're doing it. Like, some of their school events, they'll be great. Like, it's really heartwarming to see. And I also want to highlight, we're in a stage of existence where it's not even like, on one hand, it's okay to not be okay. You've got schools and companies and corporations and everyone promoting this, which I fully agree with. And then on the other hand, when kids have a lot of energy, they're boys, or they learn in different ways, or whatever, you have teachers who are saying, "Oh, I think he has ADHD, or he has AD, or he has." It's all these lettered diseases, or I don't know what they're called. Like, are they titled diseases, or? But then they need to be medicated. And only 6, 7,
Easy.
8, and I'm like, "What do you mean need to medicate? He's a kid. He probably needs to run around in the garden." We're not. Well, are we teaching kids how to learn, or are we teaching them how to be obedient? It's a fine line. And then the thing with medications, is they immediately suppress, and that's what alcohol is. It's the
Yes.
biggest depressant on the planet. And in most cases, this is what happens for people that, it's very sad that suicides, they come because people have been sort of forced down a particular path, because the father did it, or the mother did it, or the auntie did it, and it was sort of the family thing to be a doctor or a plumber or whatever
Yeah.
it is. But then many go through college and get to the 4 years, and then they become the teacher or the plumber or whatever it is to appease somebody else. And that's when they realise they're lost.
Yeah.
What, like, I've done all, and then a lot of people get caught in that trap of, oh, but if I'm not a nurse, or if I'm not a teacher, or if I'm not a plumber, or I'm not a doctor, then who am I? I'm gonna upset my mother. For my wife, it's a journalist, and she had lots of unraveling to do just to get to where she is today. Um, so yeah, good on you for touching on that.
Yeah.
Good on you for touching on that. And then with the nursing, so you did find the love, and you did find something
Yeah,
that brought creativity and
yeah, I
visual
loved it.
learning.
Yeah, and I think
Tell us about your career at that.
yeah, I just went to Tralee and like loved it so much. The lecturers there were just amazing. Like they were just like really down to earth people and really cared. Like it wasn't about the grades, like they
Hmm.
saw heart
Oh, that's cool.
that you were. It was the first time I feel like I felt really recognized. I think I remember I got my leaving cert results and I did well, and the vice principal came up to me and said, "Oh, we didn't expect that you'd get that. We thought that you'd be going to England." And I said, "What? Like." Imagine. I said that. I was like, that just
I had it too, man. I had
oh,
some crazy
it
stories
just
like that,
it
but go
sums
on.
yeah, it sums it all up. And I was just like, whatever, I was like, anyway. I went to nursing and yeah, I did amazing there. And I yeah, I just loved it. And I just loved learning what I was learning because it was like I'm learning about my body, I'm learning about like what's actually happening it was the first time, like I was just saying that what we should be learning in school. I was really learning, about
Hmm.
myself, and we did psychology and sociology and we did, anatomy and physiology. And I was like, yes, like this is what it was made me so excited, and then being out in the wards, I think we spent half the year on the ward mostly, and being with the people and just being able to talk with them and have conversations and really like a lot of the time people are in hospital and yes, they're sick, but like underneath that sickness is loneliness, real
Hmm.
loneliness and like not having anyone to have a conversation with. And like I'd often see it, just making time to have a conversation with a patient in the morning was just like would change everything. It could change them from being really unwell during the night. And this is what we need to remember is that like we've been told that we need to have the medication to fix, we need to take this to put the plaster over, but actually, and this is just going for normal people living in this world, that like at home, in your own home, if somebody isn't feeling right and they're feeling sick, maybe ask, is there anything else going on, instead of being like, do you need to go to the doctor, and get an antibiotic. It's like, what's going on? Like, what are you feeling? Like, is there something
What's the real cause?
was like, what's underneath?
Uh-huh.
If it's a chest infection, often sadness we hold here, grief. And then
Uh-huh.
the lungs begin to weaken, and because we're holding on to so much emotion of sadness, and so the chest then becomes weak and we get infections because it can't function properly, and it's like, what's underneath that chest infection? Is there sadness there? Like, let's have a chat, like, like, stop trying to fix people, like stop trying to make, like, stop trying to make your father better, you're just stop the trying to fix, and like listen and allow people to
Hmm.
express themselves, and be open. Like this day of being in Ireland where it's like you can't ask somebody how they're feeling, like that's gone, like we're
Hmm.
getting great, it's like, let's be able to be real here, like let's be human beings, and let's have a conversation, like, this tip of the surface crack, yeah, everything's great and grand, like get real,
Yes.
like let's how are you, like how are you actually really feeling, and
Hmm.
if people are open to having that conversation, amazing. If people aren't, then that's also fine, like, but really allowing yourself to be truthful and honest and to be in your heart, when people often just are looking for love, and because people are so in fear, it's like they need some love. Everything's going to be okay, like don't panic, don't worry, like, you've got this,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's incredible, and a huge thing that dropped in for me there as you were speaking was you're obviously a qualified nurse. You're highly skilled at what you can do and what you've used to do, and now you're in this esoteric world where you work on the energy and root causes, because the stuff we go to the hospital with is the surface level problem.
Yeah, yeah,
What's
yeah,
driving that is a root cause. So it, I'm highlighting here that you have come from a Western medicine education,
mm,
and you recognize that there's also room for the energy and the healing work that you
Yeah.
do here.
Yeah.
So people who, what would you say to people who would look at your profile today, for instance, and say, ah, that's all bullshit, that's all woo-woo.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got the beauty of both sets of skills right now. So what would you say to those people?
I would say just try and have an open mind, it's woo-woo because people, you know, I probably will make a lot more money in the hospital getting lots of wage, and there's a lot more money to be earned in that. So, whether with this work it's real, it's like
Mm-hmm.
we don't need to, it's like if you go back to long years and years and years ago, like our ancestors, they healed themselves, like my grandmother used to give me a drink which was made up of this medicinal, I don't know, of all natural things. And she used to make us drink nettle soup. She was really natural. Like we never got a tablet off her. And she lived, until she was 80 something years of age, like very, very healthy her whole life. It's like our bodies can heal ourselves, and I think that's the number one thing that you need to know is that we do not need, yes, sometimes we need the hospital, of course, if we get a heart attack or if we have a big tumor that needs to be taken out of our bodies. But underneath that, the body can heal itself. And I think people need to be reminded of that. Like it's only of very recent years that medication has come in and all of these, procedures to fix people. We didn't have that millions of years to hundreds of years ago, people fix themselves, and yeah, I think for me, if people are, I just, to be open and to know that we are energetic beings, and this is why we experience emotions in our body, is because we are energy. We are balls of energy. That's all we are, really, living in this physical body. So if you think that your emotions are off balance and there's stuck emotions along the motorway. So I see the channels moving through our bodies, like the midrins. I see them as motorways. There's cars blocked along the way. If there's traffic jams, it's all the body. Yes, the physical body cannot operate correctly. So what we need to do, if you really want to be healthy and you really want to keep your body moving well, we have to keep those cars clear. Those cars are balls of stuck energy. So that's why we need to, no tablet will clear that ball of energy out. No surgery will clear that ball of energy out. What will clear that ball of energy out is working with your energetic system to clear that energy. And that doesn't involve any procedure. It doesn't involve any tablet. It really involves you surrendering into your body and really feeling into the blockages by having someone like me to be able to guide you through that,
Yeah, amazing. So what I say and how I work is similar with releasing somatic energy, because it's always the traumatic event at some stage in life that's stored there. So what I say is the quickest way to get it out of your system is to face off with the thing that put it in there.
Yes.
So for you and your work, people think they've forgotten about it, but innately it's stored in the body or the back of the subconscious mind. And when you get in an environment that is safe enough to bring it to the surface, the body, because the soul knows.
Yeah.
Soul knows. So it delivers it on the plate immediately. It's just on us to have an open enough mind to try out new things.
Exactly. That's it. And like, it's unfortunate that like Ireland is the way it is, but all of this, like, I think it has been for quite a while with, like this
church,
exactly.
the
And this,
science,
it's like
this.
all of this stuff that we're carrying in the land of Ireland, really.
And the Brits as well, all the British, the colonized.
Yeah, like so much has happened on our land, with of so much trauma, so much our ancestors have experienced so much deep pain, like, and not having food to eat, it's like, I think of myself there when I was younger, I used to be scoffing the food back, I'm like, is it any, because lots of Irish do that because there's a part of us that probably feels like we're going to starve if we don't eat the food quick, and it's all subconscious, but we're carrying this, it's like, we have to, when as women, I think we hold generations of our past, grandparent, our mother, grandparent, great
Mhm.
grandparent in our womb. So there's generations living within us. So of
Of
course
trauma.
we're holding on to their trauma as well. And they say,
Uh-huh.
unless one person breaks the cycle, and when we say that break the cycle, it means one person who decides in the family to go inward and to really go inward and do the work and stop pretending everything is fine, and the person who can face the emotion that's stored. And really, it's huge because it has such a ripple effect. Since I've started doing this work, my sister Emily has, delved into it, and she's now starting to really crack open, and my sister Mariella and my mom, and it's having this ripple effect where it's like
Ew.
light bulbs are just flashing, and everyone is starting to like, oh wow, there's more to life than what we thought, like
Mm.
go inward and let's see why I'm here, let's go in here and let's have a look at what's going on,
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm beaming
yeah,
listening to that because I understand and resonate with it. And I also want to highlight as well, just before we move on, I will come back to the family piece now. But the system, the medical system, the schooling system, they're all controlled by the same people. And where they tell you that you don't trust, because in modern day Ireland, you'll be seen as a witch.
yeah,
And in older days Ireland, they probably want to burn you at the stake. So they're telling you not to trust Jane, for instance, with her new healing modalities. You have to trust us and our system, with the medical system and with the army system and with the fucking education system. But in reality, they're the ones who burned,
yeah,
and witches were not witches. They were just naturopaths. So your great your granny,
yeah, that's it.
she would have been seen as alternative fucking psychopath and all of that. And I'm sure,
Yeah,
the church and other, even the medical system would frown upon her.
yeah,
Um,
because we have the power within, it's like
exactly. They don't
it's
want you to know that. The
power,
system doesn't want you to know that.
yeah. And like, even in my life, I've always very much like known that, like, I, for instance, like didn't get my period for 3 years. Then this is just an example because I know it will resonate with other people. And I went to the doctor and he told me that I should go on the pill and that I should do all of this stuff to bring it back, and I knew, I was like, this isn't right, and why I wasn't getting it was because of what I was holding onto in my body and what was suppressed.
Mhm.
At the time, I was only trying to figure it all out. But yes, the body was speaking to me, my body was trying to tell me something isn't right, it wasn't functioning right. But if I had listened to that and taken this pill to give me a fake bleed, which would even put me into more like damage into my body, like
This is,
regulating my hormones, like my, yeah, like my mood swinging up and down. And I'm having this conversation because I've spoken with so many women that have done this, and they're like, now they've realized that no, like this isn't the answer. Like it made me worse actually. And you know, when they got to the root of what was going on, it was often, yes, it not often, but it was uh blockages in their energetic system, and the
uh,
blocks stopping, it was blocked emotion. And until
uh,
they delved in and released this emotion, then everything went back into balance. Because the body will
uh,
find, it will,
yes.
everything, the body will always try and find equilibrium, like, like it will always, if the heart isn't working properly, another part of the body will jump in to help out,
Mhm.
so yeah, like the body knows the score, like we know what's up, we just have to, yeah, allow ourselves to really listen. Yeah,
I love it. And I trust our intuition.
yeah,
And another way of saying that is gut feeling.
yeah,
Everybody knows a good feeling, but not everybody resonate with that. Oh, trust your intuition. What's that? But it's a good feeling. If you're feeling it in your body, that's the thing that needs to go first,
yeah,
or needs to be done first.
right,
So you
yeah,
feel, even if you're listening to this now and there's a conversation that you get to have, that will help heal a relationship or mend your own heart, or something you need to let go of. If there's something jumping off in your heart right now or in your gut, that's what you need to do first.
yeah,
Um, Jane, amazing. Thank you. You've got so much wisdom. I love chatting to people who crossed over. Like it's incredible.
And
So
I want
just
to add as well to say that it's like, I'm so grateful for the people that I've met on this path as well, like
aha,
people who have taught the people who have done this before me, and who have shared their wisdom. And
uh-huh,
like, I hope that, it's like having these conversations, like it can just, it can reach so many people and like it can resonate with so many people. Like, it could be, some people could just stumble across this because it's exactly what they needed and they're going through
uh-huh,
something. They don't know what's going on. Like they're feeling so much emotion in their body and they feel like they're having this breakdown. But actually, it's when we're in that space of feeling really overwhelmed in life and really like, I don't know what way to go. I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling depressed as what they'd use, like deep
aha,
depressed emotion in the body. That's when it's the best time. It's like you can flip this around. This is the best time to have a breakthrough in life because
aha.
everything is
There you
coming up.
go.
Your body, your soul is speaking to you to like listen, like stop ignoring me, and it's like when we're feeling all of this, when we're in those states of feeling helpless and hopeless, they're the moments when we can find the right people to guide us through that, will be the moment of complete turnaround and a complete breakthrough in your life where you can really go a different path and a path that's authentic and real and truthful to you and your soul. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that's amazing. That and it's that simple as well. What is funny with a lot of my clients, it's they're just blown away, and then they're like, "Well, it's so simple."
Hmm.
And the reality is, life gets to be simple. It's us that make it complicated. Nature,
Yeah.
water, we're 80% water. So, you're using the road and the meridian table. What I use to give this analogy is rocks in a river. If
Yeah.
there's no rocks in the river, it flows freely.
Yeah.
But if you put loads of rocks, and the rocks are a metaphor for trauma and events in our lives that we suppress and store down. So the more rocks that are in the river, the more turbulent the system is,
Like,
which creates chronic disease that can lead to cancer, that can lead to bowel cancer in men, because men stuff all of our anger and it goes to bowels.
yeah.
So bowel cancer is the biggest killer of men on the planet. Um, and things of that nature. So the more rocks we can take out of our own system, the freer, the more content and happier and peaceful we are. So we are not separate from nature.
No, we're
We are
one.
one of the same. Yeah, exactly.
And like,
Exactly.
when you look at nature, like, the trees, like I'm looking out here, oh my God, it's so gorgeous. I'm in a little hut, like, and I just put myself before I fly tomorrow, it's like, I need a bit of peace and quiet now before I go back to Ireland to the chaos. I'm like in a little
Back to the
hut
family home.
in the middle of nowhere. I just sit here, like yesterday, just sat here for the day and I just like was just present with nature and I was like, this is all we need, and I'm like, I look at the trees and the trees are beautiful and then the trees go bare and then the trees will blossom and then the trees will lose their and it's the cycle of life. I'm sitting,
Ew.
that's just me. And the trees have life force going through them. The animals have
Uh-huh.
life force going through them, but we also have life force going through us, which is often what is blocked within us because of our traumas,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and that's the other thing as well, because this the podcast, it's called the Successful Irishman Podcast. I haven't even told you the name of it.
I
And right, I haven't. I just finishing the logo, right? But it's called the Successful Irishman Podcast, where we know success isn't only about money and material riches. It's about personal freedom, owning your time, and leaving your trauma, triggers, and limiting beliefs behind.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I love that. Absolutely.
yeah,
100%.
because and this is the number one reason I made this podcast is because the system have sold us a lie.
Yeah.
They sold us the lie that we need the cars, the houses, the wife, the kids, which we do need. Well, if you want to
Of
have
course.
kids,
It doesn't bring you
but
happiness.
exactly. But when you get to 70, the
Yeah.
retirement age, then you can live happily ever after.
No.
I'm gonna tell you something here that's gonna fuck your brain up, right? I wrote a book a couple of years ago, right? I wrote a
Yeah.
book, an ebook, a couple of years ago, and as I was writing it, this thing dropped in because I'm against the system, right? But I love numbers, calculations, maths,
Yeah.
and between the age, I got kicked out of school at 15, so I didn't even do my junior cert. And I had the same thing. I wanted to do maths. I became a massive messer, and maths was huge for me as a kid. In primary, I was doing years ahead of what class I was in. But when I got to secondary, I was a little fuck. And I wanted to do ordinary level maths in school, in my junior cert. And the teacher was like, no, you're not doing it. Like, you're better to have a pass than a fail. And I'm in my heart, I innately knew. I'm like, no, I'd rather go for what I need to succeed in life than to lower my standards
Yeah.
and have something that I can't actually use to get these jobs and whatever, whatever. Now I passed with the skin on my teeth. So, but I got it done. Yeah, I got it done.
Amazing.
Well,
Amazing.
yeah. So coming back to maths, I nearly lost my train of thought there. But based on the societal system where you go to school, you go and do the education, then you get the next bit of education, which is college. You go and do this degree, and then you do. For me, it was 55 years. For people who do extra education, it's not. But for me, right, 55 years, then you get the husband, the wife, or you get the secure job, then you get the husband or the wife, you get the family, you get the mortgage, you get the ball and
Yeah.
chain.
Yeah.
So for me, there was 55 years from the age of 15 to the age of 70 when you retire, right? With society and the system that they've built, we get 4 weeks holidays a year,
Yeah.
right? Christmas is taken, Easter is taken.
Yeah.
So we get 2 weeks to choose what we want to do
Yeah.
with our life every year for 55 years, right? Do the maths on that. For
Yeah.
2 weeks of 55 years of your life, you get to choose what to do with your life. How many years does that add up to?
I'm not great at the maths now.
Right.
But that's okay.
Well, I'll answer it for you. For 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 2.5 years, not even 2.5, it's 2.25, I believe. Um, for let's call it 2.5 years of your whole 55-year working lifespan,
Yeah.
you get to choose what to do with your life. So
Crazy.
2.5 out of 55 years, you get to choose to go on that holiday, whether it's Spain, whether it's Bali, whether it's Las Vegas, God knows. That system isn't broken.
No.
That system is operating exactly how it was built. You pay your tax,
Yeah.
you be a good little boy or good little girl as an adult,
Yeah.
and you conform to what society wants of you until you get to 70 and you're too old to go see the world and do all of these things, and your bones are brittle, sickness. If you
Yeah.
manage to get to 70 and you even get to your fucking pension, you
Totally.
know?
Yeah. It's wild. Like, and it's just like, this is why we're, doing this work now is because unless that we go within and look at the traumas and find the freedom within, it's
You.
very easy to be in that space because it's safe, it's safe for people to have these, to have the job and the income and, to be in this system, what for if we go inwards and we actually understand, the power that we hold within ourselves, and really we can do whatever we want to do, like we are creative beings, we have come here to create, and to give the world our gifts, and everyone is different. Like, we shouldn't be fitting into this slot or this slot or this slot or this slot, it doesn't need to have a name even, it's just like, if you can find what you're here to do, like find your purpose, what is, and really live from your heart, and and not to be chasing the money, but to be chasing, because the money is energy, the money will come as you start to step into your power and you start to create what you were here to create. The energy is going to come back to you in the form of money, so that will flow. So, be brave in going inward and finding out who you really are and what it is that you're here to bring to this world, so that we can all help each other, that we are all help each other out,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Impact over income, because the income comes like
course.
Simple math. You look after X amount of people, then the income will come. So if you concentrate on yourself, and because we all have these gifts handwritten on our heart.
So many, and it's easier for us to be doing what we've studied for, that we've done the course for the 4 years, then it's like, oh, you're playing a role, you're wearing,
Ah,
it's like we wear masks, we wear the mask, the work
ah,
mask, the family mask, the mother, the father mask. It's like, no, like, get rid of the masks, when I was even thinking about a friend yesterday. She came into my head and she's the most incredible piano player. And I'm like, I need to get onto her because I'm like, she's definitely been put on this earth to share her music.
ah.
So
Music is medicine.
music
That's
is medicine.
fucking the one of the
And
most important medicines,
exactly. And she holds herself back.
especially a pianist. Yeah.
Yeah. And she holds herself back because that's her true authentic self. And I'm like, I need to
Yeah.
get out when I go home, I'm like, get out that piano, like, and start.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thank you for saying that, because she holds herself back. I just want to magnify this for the listener, because this is why a lot of people feel lost in life, because they block their true essence or their true authentic self from shining for
Yeah.
fear of failure, for fear of
Yeah.
judgment. And a lot of our loved ones are the biggest killers of dreams on the planet.
Yeah.
Indirectly, they don't
Yeah.
mean to, but they're like, oh, don't be doing that. You need to get a
Yeah.
secure job.
Yeah.
You don't make any,
They
like
want us to be
my
happy.
parents,
Yeah.
my mother was like, what are you doing? Even my mother's counselor, who was she's great friends of the family. She's probably 25 years as a counselor. She does breath work now, so she's
Yeah.
crossing over, so same as yourself. She's like, oh, there's no money in it, but there's freedom in it. And I'm
Yeah.
earning more than I ever did on a building site. I live in Bali. I live, according to my values, and my kids this is their life. They're
Exactly.
they're 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 starting out like this. So
Incredible.
for the listener, yeah, just
Yeah.
they say it's a cliche quote. It's find what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
But if you want to be successful in life, you might as well give yourself a head start and do the thing that's handwritten on your heart, whether it's art, whether it's pianist, yourself now with the energy healing, whether it's football, whether it's
Yeah.
cars.
Whatever. Like, it doesn't have to, it's whatever. Your soul knows, like,
Yes, I love it.
you feel a spark inside you. Like, when I'm doing this work, it lights up my soul. Like, it doesn't feel like work to me. It feels
Mhm.
like, oh, this is why I'm here.
So,
And as well, another thing is, yes, we do need the jobs, and we need these jobs that Monday,
mhm,
and it can take time to really cross over into
mhm,
fully, if it's something that you want to do, is to kind of work and step into your own true authentic self, and let that be your work. But you can always do it on the side, like for 10 years,
mhm,
do this on the side, and I've put thousands into myself, like
mhm.
probably 100 grand. But it was never like, there were courses and retreats and all of these different modalities that I've studied, like, like this long, but I loved it. It was like,
Uh-huh,
it wasn't like I was spending money on any, like, it was spending money on me to learn the things that I didn't get the chance to learn in school.
mhm,
And just like, don't let the money hold you back. Like, you find a way. And
uh-huh,
even, put, if there's something that you want to do by the end of this year, like, set yourself a goal now and put money away every week to be able to do it. And there's
mhm,
ways, I think.
mhm.
Yeah. And just,
And
yeah.
amazing. Sorry to cut across you there, and well done. Like, two things I want to highlight. One, um, we are our biggest investment.
Yeah.
Like, we not clothes or cars or any of that other nonsense. Um, Education, healing, because it frees up the space for us to go and try
Mhm.
something new and all of those things. So good on you for running with that. And then the other side of that coin, when you find your purpose, and you don't even like everything, we have purpose in everything we do, like whether it's having lunch today or doing the healing work that we do with clients, right? So, but when you get absolutely crystal clear on something that you love to do,
Yeah.
the way you say the money will come, you will always find a way. The universe just like,
Yeah.
there's things that I do that I'm like shouldn't even be able to do.
Yeah.
But the way it always sort of presents itself,
Yeah. Yeah,
Once you
it's
say yes to it.
yes.
Yes.
Once you commit, it start everything will start like the things that have happened. Like I remember I went back to nursing there, like after I was in Bali and then I went back to nursing for a couple of weeks and I swear to God, the money was being pulled out of my account right, left, and centre. Like car ski tickets and my car, I lost the keys to the car and it got towed away to pay $1,000. And I was like, I came back to work, in nursing to get money together, so that I could come back again to Bali and really like give myself time to step into all of this. And I asked the universe, I was like, why you? And it was like, this is not where I cannot give you energy in this space because this is not, I've asked you, you have to step into your purpose, and your purpose
Ah,
is doing this healing at a much deeper level. So then I was like, okay, I committed to doing a breath work. And then the minute the breath work, then everything started to flow. I was like,
yes.
and I said,
Yes.
okay, I promise, I am going to do that. Because of course there's fear when you step into this whole new,
The unknown,
yeah,
yes.
but we're all
That's,
for this. Yeah.
yeah, it's incredible because in my opinion, the unknown is where most of the fun is had.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's where life surprises us. Like if you had to give people the option of knowing the whole life path or going through it in the unknown and being surprised along the way, I think we know what people are going to answer, most people. So, but look, that's incredible. And I did say I would come back to the piece with your family and, you leaning into your purpose and
Yeah.
your new career path and it being a ripple effect in your family. So can you touch on that a little bit more, please?
Yeah, I think that like as I've started to awaken, yeah, I've really started to like speak my truth and in our home and like really just speak about things that may often would have been brushed under the carpet, and like I came home last year and I'd swear they thought that I was after losing my head. Like they were
Yes.
like, you need to leave Bali. Like and
Yes,
my mother was
yes,
like,
I
what the
love
hell is after happening this child? And
it. The
I knew,
devil is in her. Get
yeah,
her
and
to church quick.
you were like, no, like she's gone, she's lost it completely. And it's that's fine, I knew because of course we have been the whole of Ireland is like this, we don't speak about how we're really feeling or what's going on. We come into the family setting and we're like, woo, everything is great. And underneath it, like, there's lots going on, and we don't want to upset anyone and we don't want to put anyone out or and I just was like, I came home after doing this retreat and really delving deep, and I just kind of started to speak truth, like I started to speak truth about life and about everything. And
Ah,
it really stirred up things, and there was a lot of resistance initially, but I knew I was like, I'm speaking my truth and I'm speaking for my soul. And I know that in time, they may not see it now, but I know that in time, everything will make sense. And really in these last few months, like our family is the closest that it's ever been. Like
you.
yeah, it's amazing, and my sisters, we always got on, but like the connection that we have now, it's like we are deeply rooted and deeply connected. And it's taken work to get here, like
Uh-huh.
we've had to work on ourselves and we've had to work on our own inner traumas,
Mhm.
really bond at this level. And like we speak to each other about, we bring each other on. We, when one person is going through something, we're there to pick each other up. And like we see, I feel like all of our souls choose our pair, like our mom and our dad. I feel like we came down and choose mom and dad because like they've just,
100%.
like they've been
Mhm.
just learning and the greatest teachers for me and both our sisters. And like, yeah, like they're amazing, and what they've taught us is like, it's taken a long time to be at that space of like the deep appreciation and that deep love. It's taken a
Mhm.
lot of work to get here, but like we've done it, and it's been about openly communicating and
Uh-huh.
being yourselves, and not being afraid to hide anything or not being afraid to upset anyone and really just saying it all out because we're all thinking the same thing inside anyway,
Uh-huh.
and
Well,
boom. And like, yeah, like I see the ripple effect that it's having. It's like, I'm so glad that I've stood strong in myself and in my truth and in what I've spoken because it really has ignited such a flame within, Emily and Mary Ellen, and it makes me so happy because I know that they've so much to give to the world as well, and I want them
mhm,
to do it in this lifetime, and
mhm.
my mom and my dad, like I'm like, we've come into this world to be in love in our families, you know, like not in fear, you know, not in control. And that's where we are now. We're like, it's like a banded unit of just love between us all. And like, yeah, like I go back home now next week and I'm going off to Lough. It's like a little island off of Ireland that my
Uh-huh.
dad goes to every year to like pray. And he's done that since my sister Marilyn got sick years ago. Like she
Mhm.
almost passed away, and I'm going to join and do it with him this year, you know. And it's like,
Amazing.
these are the things that we want to be doing, you know, like
Ah,
just, and we're going to do the Camino as a family together. And it's like all of this healing now has allowed this to happen, you know, where we're going to go off and enjoy ourselves. And yeah,
yes,
well,
yes. I love it. I love it. I just want two things. Um, would you have, without the healing, when, let's say when you were a nurse, you lived in Australia, is that correct?
in England for
So,
a while, Australia.
England and then
Yeah,
Australia, right? So, when you were home from a nursing
yeah,
uh, profession and you were back in Ireland, did you think about going and praying with your father, or did you
no,
just, it was
not at
about
all.
meeting the girls and going for a night out
Ah,
and
I was
catching up
asleep,
with?
oh, like I was asleep and I was doing the things that I thought allowed me to fit in. So like I would go
Yeah,
out
yeah.
even. I didn't love going out in big spaces of people and drinking, but I used to drink a lot then because I was really actually, you would think that I'm an extrovert, but I'm actually by all the talking, but actually I really like spending time alone and just being around a few people like who I
Uh-huh.
feel safe with. And I would go out and into these big nightclubs, which I never ever enjoyed, and I would drink and drink and drink to make myself not feel that uncomfortable and upset.
The anxious attachment side,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so I would drink and drink and drink and wake up the next day then and I'd be just so depressed off my head, you know. And I was just like, this is the way society has told us to be, you
Uh-huh,
know.
uh-huh.
Yeah. So I did all of that to fit in, but like I wasn't fitting in, like I was just making myself miserable, you know.
So this is amazing, because
Yeah.
so what's it, 12
You
months now, and you're going
yeah,
back to your father, you're gonna,
yeah,
how like, just for a second, just settle into your heart. How do you
yeah.
think your father's gonna feel when you're in locked there with him praying after so
Yeah.
many years?
Just like God, I'm already feeling like emotion in my heart. I'm like, yeah, just like I just want him to feel as well like what an amazing father he has been for us, you know, like. And
Uh-huh,
you know, I look at my dad and I feel like, you know, as a detective, he had a really tough job, you know, and like he
uh-huh,
was really amazing at what he did in his job because he treated everyone with respect, no matter whether you were up here or down here, you know. And
uh-huh,
he would get called in the middle of the night and he would have to like go and to a suicide and he would have to tell the parents. And I
uh-huh.
remember, you know, it's been in my healing journey where I'm like, you know, who did he have to talk to? And, you know, who did he have to? No one, you
No,
know.
do you know the police in Ireland have the biggest suicide rates and that they're all hidden?
Yeah, it's like you would never. I imagine it like
But
because
like
I
that report is hidden, like I think that
yeah,
it's illegal, or it's,
yeah,
yeah, you can't
yeah,
report on it.
yeah. And I'm just like, you know, I'm at the space now where I just want to like give back and like I want to spend time with my parents. Like I really want,
Mhm.
like you're saying, what would my dad feel like? He'll just feel, I think, so happy that I'm grounded and that I'm
Uh-huh.
not trying to be anyone in this world and that I'm coming back to what matters, and that's being in touch with God, which is really us, you know. And
Yeah.
and praying and giving thanks. And you know, I think that he's going to be, yeah, really proud, you know. And he wouldn't say that, like, you know, he'd be like, but I know inside he
Yes. Well, you
he's
never
already
know.
he's
You
already with
never
me
know.
like 100 times, be like, we leave now at this time, you know, like big job on, you know. Like,
Telling you what to wear. Well, I'll pack your
oh yeah,
bag. I'll have the
oh
hiking
literally,
boots.
like what to pack. He was like, I'll tell you what to
What's
pack
the
now.
what's the jumpers? The Iron Ireland jumpers, is it? The whole fucking shebang, the hiking boots. And just in case it rains, look, and here's I'll pick you a stick. I'll
Yeah,
get you a stick just in case you need a walking stick.
yeah. Yeah, and I think, yeah, it's, you know, we can really, in the healing journey, a lot of it can be, of course, around, you know, our parents and like the healing that needs to happen
Mhm.
around our childhood. But when you look at the greater picture, you know, this is where I'm at now. It's like just forgiveness, because what have our parents gone through in their lives? Like they didn't have any of this. They had
Mhm.
none of this. They
Mhm.
didn't know, like, they had no one to talk to. Like, they were just told to get on with it. And, you know, I
Uh-huh.
really look at them and I'm saying, like, wow, like, it's amazing what you have lived through. And I understand that it can be hard for them to
Uh-huh.
understand this world now because it's so far away from what they've been brought up in.
Mhm,
But I
mhm,
think just real understanding and forgiveness and
mhm.
yeah, thanking them for
Yeah,
bringing us this world as well.
amazing. Yes, of course. And, coming all the way back to the system, if you look at it, it's like, we had the Brits that tried to control Ireland, then we had the church that did
Yeah,
control Ireland,
yeah,
and then we have the science
mm,
that tried to control Ireland. And,
yeah,
we are a heavily traumatized nation. And we all celebrate ourselves for being the best fans in the world and
yeah,
the best partiers in the world and the best this, that, and the other in the world. When in reality, we're using alcohol to suppress our traumatic generations of traumatic events. And, it's not even that they didn't have people like this. The
mm,
system didn't allow it.
yeah,
Witches were burned at the stake, as they call them, when in reality were just naturopaths, people that didn't saw an alternative way. But in reality, nature is genuine and real. It's
yeah,
it's diesel fueled medication and
yeah,
chemicals, and that's alternative. That's alien to our bodies. So yeah, great for touching on that. But also something before we'll carry on into the final chapter. Something you said a minute ago there with with the family, you were all thinking the same, but you weren't saying it.
mm,
And the boom was when you started to communicate. So just to highlight that, when you're thinking the same, it's like there's a resentment there. There's a
yes,
conversation that hasn't been said. So what you're saying is because of the open communication about these things, there hasn't been an allowance for the volcano, the
yeah,
resentment to
yeah,
steam up and then lead to bickering and fighting and
yeah,
that whole blow up.
totally lashing out, and it's
Yeah.
just, and this is what happens is like when we don't, and again, like this is why this energetic work and what I'm doing is so important because there's families breaking down, there's
Uh-huh.
relationships breaking down, and the relationships aren't breaking down often because of it's breaking down because when we're in these situations when we're very, very close to people, we're being mirrored and we're being
Mhm.
triggered, and
Yes.
all of the stuff that we have pushed down, is going to come up and we end up lashing out at the wrong people, and really it's we need to this is why we need to find spaces where we can express in a
Ah,
way, instead of expressing and putting our hurt onto other people, and this is why all of this is continuing on is because it's the people in our lives that
uh-huh.
are triggering us, and we really need to, yeah, be able to look inward and instead of blaming the person across the way from you, being like, what is this person? Why am I getting angry, upset with this person? Like, what are they bringing up within me? Because often it's not that person, like, yes, people can be toxic and manipulative and narcissistic,
Mhm.
all of this, but what are they, if that's the case, then I shouldn't be around this person. I should walk away and not be in this relationship, but
Bingo.
if it's a case that I'm still here and I'm still allowing this person to push to to trigger this within, what's happening, like what is going on, and really understanding where is this root coming from? Am I
Yeah.
not worthy enough of walking away? Am I not
Hey.
feeling value? Am I not feeling lovable enough that I'm settling for this level of behavior? And
Uh-huh.
really finding where is this root stemming from, and until that you go to that root, you will continue to draw those people into your life, the people who are not going to treat you right, the people who are going to take advantage of you, the people who are going to just walk all over you if you're an empathic person like I am, and until that you go to the wound and the deep, deep wound of where this began, where was it that I felt unlovable or
Mhm.
unworthy, because until that you go there and let that pain out of the body, then and
Mhm.
then you'll start to attract people who are just like you and who want to bring out,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
Yes, I
like
love it.
it's like our families, and I think it's like Gabor Mate, I think he says this, it's like if you want to
Yeah.
heal, live with your family for a week. And I really believe that like with friends, we can distance ourselves and we will never, maybe we'll keep a mask on, but when you're around your family, you're going
Mhm.
to be triggered to the core because all of your healing is coming from that space as a child.
Uh-huh.
You can heal in a week what you were trying to heal in 10 years if you put yourself into, yeah, if you,
Uncomfortable situations. I love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
look, that's me and that's my experience. For some people, I understand that they've been in families where it's actually not safe to be around their parents because
Mm,
they're so damaged and so traumatized that it's actually safer for them to be out of that environment and heal
mhm.
them. So like needing to say that as well. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's in your heart.
And exactly, you took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say, and you get to feel it. Like one, you got to feel it to heal it, but
Yes.
your energy coming back to the intuition,
Yeah.
which said differently is the gut feeling. So
Yeah.
if your intuition or you're feeling nervous or confident, nervous around certain people, then that's not where you go to heal.
Number one, like,
Yeah, yeah. And then
there's,
you find
yeah,
safety in yourself. So it's great, one, I'm going to touch on something all the way back. It's really incredible, like going all the way back to your childhood in school and coming all the way up to where you're at today. Because again, this is a pattern that I've noticed with all of the guests I've had on so far. Um, innately, with your back to your grandmother, when you looked after your grandmother, innately you knew that working with the body was where the key was. And
yeah.
even in school, you spoke of energetics. You didn't feel good around certain teachers. You didn't feel safe. That's the word. You didn't feel safe around certain teachers. But so innately, you went through life. And hey, what age are you? If you don't mind me.
What age am I now?
Yeah,
31.
31. So innately, you've went through life and you've come full circle from what
Mm,
I can
yeah,
tell, listening to your
amazing.
story.
Huge, like, yeah, but it's taken me until really this last year to really
Uh-huh.
feel it's been a big, painful journey often,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, like I feel like I've come full circle, yeah, and for
Uh-huh.
sure, I mean, as I say, I'm always a student of this world and I would forever be learning and ever growing. And I don't think I'll ever stop because I don't
Uh-huh.
think I'll ever know it all. Yeah, I think that like I've always known that like there's more than the seen world. There is more
Uh-huh.
than the world and there is an unseen world that we've been cut off from, like our peeling
Uh-huh.
that we can connect to the unseen world, like I meditate every day and I feel my ancestors around me and I have guides that I work with and
Uh-huh.
they are constantly sending me messages and this is what makes my work so profound is that they're working through me, and
Uh-huh.
I very much I feel like I've always been connected to spirit, and I think that it was shut down in me, like I remember saying, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I feel like my mom was like, Jane, don't be taking on people's problems, don't be, and she was right, don't be taking on people's worries, like look after yourself, but I didn't have a choice, like I think my soul didn't have a choice in just cutting off that feeling. Like I had to allow myself to
Uh-huh.
honest and truthful. And it was hard because I felt I would put myself then in situations where I didn't feel comfortable, but I was like, everyone else is doing it. And I would see the mass, I would see it would all
Uh-huh.
look great, things would look great. And I'm like, yeah, this is a really cool place to be, but I wasn't feeling it in my belly or
Uh-huh.
my soul, and it really took me a long time to learn that we are they want us to be disconnected from our intuition. It really took me a long time to reconnect at a deep, deep level back to my intuition because it's so, so strong and to really
Uh-huh.
trust. And I'm so guided by, people will be like, where are you off to next, Jane? And I'm like, I really just,
Well
I have
say.
to, I work on what's coming through for me in every moment. And often I can't tell you what's going to happen in 6 months down the line. I can have a vision, but I
Uh-huh.
don't know where that's going to unfold because I'm always being sent messages and where to be guided to next. And I have to listen or else
Uh-huh.
I'm not moving the right direction.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, incredible. And just like, I don't know what time we started this podcast at, so I forgot to take a note.
Yeah.
So, anyways, for you, can you explain? So, you obviously worked with this, the couple of finishing touches. You spoke, well, you obviously came from the Western medicine world. What was like for you to, yeah, change career, basically?
It felt right, and like, I
Uh,
mean,
uh, what sparked it? What sparked it, and what was it like for you going through the transition?
I think for me, it was like the nursing was a way for me to step into helping people in the best way that I could at the time in Ireland, with the way that school offered to me. Like, if I was able to study naturopathy or Chinese medicine, if that was
Uh-huh.
offered to me, I would have gone down that path. But it
Uh-huh.
wasn't offered to me, But I was always like treating myself with, naturopathic medicine, even when I was younger, from a young age, but I couldn't. So then I went into nursing. So I think that while I was nursing, I was studying all of these natural courses. Like, I was studying, like, oh my God, like body work. So like Kuna massage, like
Uh-huh.
hypnotherapy, like pendulum work, neurolinguistic programming. Like, I wanted to learn about the full spectrum of the body. And
Mhm.
so I kept doing that and doing that and doing that for like a couple of years. I've been on like for probably 10 years now. So I've always been doing it on the side. And I knew that I wasn't ready to step in to share this work with other people, because I hadn't gone to my core wounds myself. So my soul,
Mhm.
I cannot hold people in a space where I haven't held myself. Can't not take people to the depth of their wounds if I haven't gone to the depths of the wounds myself. So it never felt right.
100%.
Yeah, and like, I remember I was doing a lot of shadow work, and I remember I used to be getting annoyed at myself because I would do a course, and then, then I'd be like, oh, why? I know I'm supposed to be doing this work in the world. I know I'm supposed to be sharing this gift that I have, but why am I stepping into it? And there was a times where I was getting angry at myself, because it was this flicker between trying to get into this natural world away from the, medical world. And the time just wasn't right, like, my soul knew when the time was right. And that was just in these last few months where, like I said, I went back to do the nursing before Christmas, and it was like, no, 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 no. And all of the signs as to why I wasn't supposed to be doing it started to come through. And then,
Okay.
then I committed myself to, okay, I will step over into this work. I will share my gifts. I will help heal people, and I will help heal this earth. And
Uh-huh.
and then I just
Ew.
take one step at a time. And, I'm at the stage where it doesn't need to unfold overnight. I think this is something that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. And I don't force or put pressure, and I don't want to come across in any way that I'm trying to force people in to do this work. Like, I know that the people are going to come to me. I know that the
Mhm.
people who want to seek out this work, and the souls who are ready, will come. And yeah, that, like, I feel like nursing has been such a huge part of my life, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, it's been such a massive part of this journey, to understanding people, to understanding disease, to understanding, yeah, people on a very, very deep level. Like, it's shown me and taught me so much. And nursing has also shown me people, like, nurses are just like angels, I feel, like they're the
Uh-huh.
greatest souls that I have met, because no one can just do that work. It's like we're going in there to work, and we're slogging, like, especially,
Mm.
it's like 12 hours inside there, from the dark until the light, away from parents, away from kids. They don't see their kids from one end of the day to the next, because they're doing 12-hour shifts. They're gone in the morning, they're asleep at nighttime. And like, you're literally pouring your heart and soul into other people in really, really stressful environments where
Uh-huh.
money isn't there, the funding is not there to allow people to work in a really safe way. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's so much stress on nurses. And I'm like, especially nurses who are listening to this work, like, please, do some energetic work, reach out
Yeah,
and
yeah.
have space,
Just
help.
to reset.
Yeah, it's like they need it so
It's
much, like we need it so much.
it's crazy. Thank you for highlighting that. And yes, a huge celebration. I've got lots of friends who are nurses. Like, what you guys do is miraculous. Some of the high stressful situations is
Yeah,
literal life and death for
yeah,
people.
yeah,
And you guys do it on the regular. And you also deliver babies into the world as well,
yeah.
which you do on the regular. So thank you for that. Um, but
And
you know,
with nursing, I'm like, I worked in Australia the last couple of years, and like, there's a part of me that would love to go and work with the Aboriginals in like the
uh,
central Australia. So I'm like, maybe I'll go back and I'll help them in some setting, in some hospital setting for a while. Like, so I allow myself to be open and flexible,
uh,
never
there
say
we
never.
go. Life
Yeah,
is about options. The
exactly.
more options we have, the freer we will feel.
Yeah,
And that's what different skill sets give to you. Because
yeah,
if you do need extra dollars now and again, and you decide to do a month in
Exactly.
regional Australia, which brings you into the Aboriginal territory, and you get paid for it along the way, and you get to be with the
Exactly. It allows you
Aboriginals
to allows me to come back then and continue to
and
invest.
combine, because in my opinion, the way I see it as well, it's not a one or the other. It's a
No,
both and, you
exactly.
know,
Yeah.
because it's like everything. What is it? We're stronger together. Everything is stronger together.
Exactly. Yeah. And
So
I think
there's
that's it.
huge.
Yeah. I think the medical system, of course, they're like, if somebody has a heart attack or like I said, any acute thing that happens where they,
Mhm.
of course, but what we want to do in this world is try and stop it before it gets to that stage. Like if you're having a heart,
Ah,
like sadness in the heart, heartbreak, like the organ of the heart is like the highest emitting frequency. It's a huge organ that holds on to so much emotion. So if you've
mhm.
experienced deep, deep sadness in your life, it's a possibility and you're holding on to it, that your heart will stop to function properly, and
Ah,
that's where I come in. It's where we can balance that and clear that blockage around the heart so that it doesn't lead to a heart attack. It's
yeah, yeah.
like liver cancer, if is anger, we hold on to the emotion of anger in the liver. If you've experienced you've built up anger, pent up anger, if you're lashing out on people, you know and your partner, where there's no need for it, or lashing out on your kids, and it's that's stored anger, and it's like, yes, that could manifest
Triggers.
into to liver cancer. So come to me, or come to whoever that can really help you release that emotion in a safe
Uh-huh.
way, as opposed to get onto others.
Yeah. Amazing. And look at one more thing I want to touch on because it's really important. Again, it's coming back to the system and it's coming back to nurses and how, like, the nurses in Ireland still haven't been paid for all the extra hours they done during the COVID, nonsense, I believe it was. The system continuously, like, you guys are angels. What you do for the world, for the sick, for the elderly, for the people who get terminal illnesses, you guys are angels. And for a system to create the working hours and the environment that you guys have to work in, you know, it's not right. Because it's not that there's no money. Money is infinite. And you can clearly see that there's fucking plenty of money. Ireland has got the most expensive hospital. I think it's the third or second or third in the world.
Yeah.
And it's not even built yet. It's still racking up bills. It's like 2 or 3 billion it's into now. So money it's not that there is no money.
Mm.
So, like, what would you say? How do you fix that problem? Like, I know that the government have the money,
Mhm.
and I know there's money in the world, and we know that Ireland's nurses are understaffed, or Ireland's hospital and medical system is understaffed, and um, what do you see as a solution to help fix that?
I mean, like when I was in Ireland, like there was like lots of what you call those things where they're out with the where they would strike, we'll say, where they would
Strike, yeah, yeah,
stand up,
picket
like,
fence,
I mean,
or the
they would
picket
get
line.
a little, like, I think they would get some bit of an increase or whatever, like, but like not much at all. And it's just like, yeah, how will it, like, for me, I feel the only solution would be if actually none of the nurses went into hospital and the people were left inside there without people. Like, I think it actually does it have to be that bad for them to change things? Like, really, it's like, how many more times do nurses need to speak out, about like people being on trolleys like for hours and hours and hours, like not receiving the care. Like, you hear all of these stories, and of course there's amazing stories as well, yes, but like, it's like, when does it come
Yeah,
where
but the amazing.
nurses are valued for what they're doing? It's like
Mhm,
the work that
mhm.
they're doing, it doesn't equate. Like, in Australia, the money that I get paid equates to the work I do. They
Yes.
we get paid. That's why all of the nurses, there is no nurses left in Ireland at our age. And then they're wondering, why are we all leaving? Yeah, we're leaving because the conditions are not good to work in. We're leaving because the money is shocking. And if
Mhm,
we live our lives, we need to get paid to be able to have a good quality of life, and
mhm.
that's why most nurses are literally, I have friends that are working back in Ireland, and they say that they're bringing nurses from Philippines, from India, coming in to work in Ireland where English isn't even very good, you know, and like, where's the safety for the people? You know, it's like, when are they going to wake up and like actually start treating people and nurses, they're not people, we're human beings, with respect, and the respect for the work that they are doing to help people, you know, who are really, really sick, and at people in hospitals they're paying their taxes, you know, they deserve to get the care that they're paying for, you know, like some people have been paying their whole life and have never gone to hospital, and then they go in, they're left in a trolley for 24 hours, you know, and it's just like, and
And
not even,
longer. In
they're
Dublin,
left
it's
in bed,
days.
you know, and ringing the bell to go to the toilet, and there is a nurse there to get the bell because they're too busy caught up elsewhere. And it's just like, you know, if you deserve, human beings deserve to be cared for at the end of their life, you know, when they're older, they have no one else to care for them. We are the people who are the advocates, you know. And yeah, it's like, when is it going to change? Like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. And I just hope one day, like, I pray to God that, like, Ireland is an amazing country because we are amazing people, and we are so amazing. Like, there is no one like us, I don't think, in this world.
I agree.
Got profound wisdom within us. Are amazing
Profound wisdom and craziness.
people. And exactly. And I'm just like, if Ireland could if they could just try and help, like, try and just start like, wake up, you know, and like, seriously, like, just shit, and like, it's going to benefit everyone in the long run. Like, offer the nurses coming out of college, offer them what they deserve, what they have worked for, you know, and like, try and keep us, like, give us incentives, you know, to stay in Ireland, because it's so sad that we're all leaving, you know, it's so sad that we have to leave Ireland and leave our families and go to the other side of the world to be treated the way that we deserve to be treated. And like, so grateful to Australia for showing us what it actually is like to be treated properly as a nurse, to be paid properly, to be working in good conditions where it's fully staffed. It's amazing. And I don't blame the Irish people for leaving. You know, if they ask me, I go, yeah, absolutely go. Like, go and travel, go and see the world, and go and in a nurse in a hospital where you are treated properly, you know, and paid for properly, so that you can actually live your life the way that you deserve to live your life. Yeah.
Yes, as a gatekeeper of life.
Yeah.
You know, as well done. Thank you for all that you do and all that you're yet to do. You know, it's incredible. It's incredibly inspiring. I literally wrote it in capital letters here on my notepad. Inspiring conversation and life story. Last thing I would say, just quickly on that, when I was at home last time, last August, my mother-in-law, she told me about the doctorate system in Ireland, and they only have 12 spaces. I don't know whether it's 12 spaces each year or 12 spaces while they go through that 3 or 4 years or whatever their college term is, or their qualification term is. And last year, of the 12 doctors, 11 of them left Ireland because God knows what the reasons are. But she explained to me that when they become an under doctor, or whatever it's called, like an apprentice doctor, so you go out and you work for a year or something like that for free, and you're an understudy. But the other doctors treat them like absolute shit. Like,
Yeah.
what the, like this is yeah, this is why breaking the hierarchy. This is how like the work we do is so important, because you're breaking the chains of that. Just because it was done when you were an apprentice, or you were a child, or when you were coming through, doesn't mean that you have to treat another human being. It's like, it's such a fucking contradiction. So here you are, you're working to save people's lives, but there's some guy over here who's 27 or 30, whatever, and you're going to treat him like a dog. Or not even, you shouldn't treat dogs like that, but you're going to treat him like shit because that's what you got when you were an apprentice. You know, it's the whole thing is fucking
The hierarchy.
backwards.
People, like, you know, you've consultants there, like, you know, you have some of them who, I see it, they're all following on in a trail inside of work, like little ants, you know, and afraid to speak or say anything, you know. It's just like rotten, like, you know, it's just like, that's not really the case in Australia at all. You don't really have that. Like, it's very one level, you know, you go up and you chat the doc, like, not a bother, you know. And no, the young doctors aren't like that. I think it's just like the older generation, you know. I have witnessed that in Ireland, definitely. But, and of course, I've witnessed others who are absolutely fabulous and you can have a chat with and no bother at all. But like there definitely is that there. And you know, I think it's just no matter whether it's in the hospital or whether it's in teaching or whether it's in any workplace that you work in, you know, like we're all one, you know, and no CEO of a company or a CEO of a company that thinks that he's above everyone else is not a good CEO of a company, you know, like working in the police, somebody who thinks he's above on top of everyone, like controlling it, like, no, we're all one, but we all have to fit goals to help each other, you know, so that we can help each other out. And somebody who has more experience can guide the people with less experience. And that's what life is about. Oh, the elders, that's why like I look so much up to my grandparents and to the elders of this world, you know, and I really aspire to them because they have so much wisdom to teach us, you know, and they want to guide us, you know, and like give us the messages in life and the patients that I looked after, like especially when I was looking after the oncology patients. And that speciality of nursing has a really close part to my heart because these patients have really surrendered to life because they know that they don't have long left to live. And the inspiration and the wisdom that I have received from them, you know, and it's just like, forget about all that crap, you know, like, you know, do what you want to do, you know, and it's just like, I know it sounds cliche, but really it's the truth, you know, it's like, get off of the rabbit wheel, you know, and like, get off of it, and really just like, enjoy life and like, do the work on yourself and really, you know, be here and really experience this reality and this physical, beautiful reality that we've been gifted and really try to find the joy in the moments that we experience. And
beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So look, two final questions. Thank you very much for being here today and gifting me your time and your presence. It's been a very inspiring conversation. What is next for you and where can people find you?
I go back home to Ireland tomorrow. So yeah, I'm the whole space at home when I get home. As I said earlier, I really feel the pull to bring this work back to Ireland. And I don't know is that's, you know, something telling me, like, I think it's very much, it's strong within me. So I'm going to trust that. I'm going to go home for a couple of weeks and see how things go. And maybe slowly bring myself back to Ireland and be between here and Bali and Australia for a while. And see where I can find a space where I can be and where the people can come to me so that I can really, you know, and yeah, I feel, as I said, I feel called to go back to Australia for maybe a couple of weeks and work with the Aboriginals in the hospitals for a little while. It's something I've always wanted to do. And while I'm still young, I want to do that. So let's see. But really, I just know that it's my time now to share this work with the world. And it's been lifetimes I feel coming to get to this place. And I feel like, you know, I've delved deep into myself and to be able to do this work and to be able to lead others and guide others. And I'm just so ready to go back to Ireland and see what things are like back there, you know, and see if I can really help break the cycles, you know, and really help people to wake up to themselves and give people a voice as well, you know, for maybe times that they've been hurt in life or something has happened to them in their childhood that they're still not speaking out about, and being able to help people to clear that out of their body and to be fine within, you know.
Epic.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's see. As I said, I'm going home and let's see where it all unfolds from there. But I would love to be spending more time back in Ireland sharing this work over the next year, definitely.
Magic, absolute magic. Well done, Jane. Incredible. Final question. What does success mean to you?
Success to me is inner peace. Success is being able to, my life just isn't about me, but my life is about something far greater. And I feel like I have come down here on this earth to really help people and help humanity to start to live from their hearts. And success for me is helping people and guiding people home into their hearts. And it has been for me, guiding myself home into my heart. And it's taken a long time to get there, to find love for myself and to find acceptance for who I am, and to really peel back all of these layers and these conditionings and traumas. And I feel like it's really simple, actually, you know, underneath it all. And it's about being around good people like you, connecting with people like you who are just real and truthful and honest, you know, and
Uh-huh.
giving ourselves time to be present and out of the mind and present in the body, fully experiencing the whole spectrum of this life, you know, and being in, like you said, being in nature, like it's medicine for me. Like I find myself at home when I'm out in the garden, when I'm out in the green trees, like we're in the ocean, like, you know, like it doesn't have to be complicated. And
Uh-huh.
success is something that we might see as having to get to. There is no final destination. Success is already within you. It's about just
Uh-huh.
it's remembering that, and you are success, you know, like we are success already. Like there is no getting to any place. It's just about kind of peeling back the layers to really find what that has always been in you, but maybe just a little bit forgotten. Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm super excited for everyone who gets to listen to this.
Thank you so much as well. It's been amazing, like connecting with you, and I'm so grateful that we got to connect in Bali. And yeah, you've been such a big part of this few months for me, you know, and we don't even realize it sometimes, you know, but like just the right people coming into our lives at the right time can really just, yeah, can spark certain things within us and really get to know ourselves on a deeper level, you know. And I'm grateful for all the conversations and the chats that we've had. Like you've also taught me a lot, you know, about certain things, and just yeah, the way that you speak from your own experience has really, you know, made me think about certain things. So thank you for being in your truth and for doing this work as well. And I think especially for, it's easier for women, I think, you know,
Uh-huh.
in the grand scheme of things. I'm like, I love like how you're from the thick of Dublin with the Dublin accent. Like, you know, you're just like, it's no bullshit, you know, it's just like you are who you are. You've been through a lot in your life and you've made it. Like you've got an amazing wife, like who I think is just so beautiful, and the most gorgeous kids. Like they're just like, we met for dinner. I met you in Cashew Tree there one night for dinner. Like I just love, I was watching you and it was just like, you were chatting to us and you were so present, and the kids were just pottering along and they were jumping off a step and they were running around and out, and you just weren't like, you weren't trying to control, you know, you weren't like,
Uh-huh.
you were keeping an eye, but you let them to it. And I was just like, you know, like amazing, like there we go, like you made it, like, and it's just like, yeah, I admire that in you. And I'm just, yeah, your kids are just so privileged to have an upbringing like what you've created for them in Bali. And yeah, you should be so proud. You know, I'm sure it's, you've had to move through a lot of resistance in yourself to, and family,
Yes.
really, you know, and it's like some people may never understand this
Uh-huh.
life that we live. And that's, I think it's really about accepting that and meeting people where they're at, but really
Uh-huh.
celebrating ourselves for where we have come from and from the work that we have done for not just for ourselves, not just for our families, but really for the greater whole in this whole
Uh-huh.
world.
Yes. Thank you very, very, very
Yeah.
much for the kind words. I'm all warm and fuzzy.
Yeah,
Thank
no, it's
you.
like I'm laughing because I was like, I didn't even know whether it was just a chat that we were popping on for
Yeah.
today or if it was going to be the real thing. But anyway, that was just so authentic and pure, and I've really enjoyed chatting with you. So thank you so much.